Good morning. Good morning. How you're doing? How has been the week with you? How are the children? Whatever time you're watching us, how are you doing too? So today, it's another Saturday as usual. We've brought you another topic. And now this is a very technical and complex, and a lot of people are dealing with it, and they don't know where to draw the boundaries and where to stop and where to continue. So today we'll be talking about it today. And guess what we're talking about? So we'll be talking about, should parents share their struggles with their children, or they should be strong for their children and so that they don't know what their struggles are. We saw a video of two kids. We were doing hot potatoes, and they were passing something to one another. So the young boy passed it to the girl, like, oh, pass it to the girl that always cry. And the girl wanted to pass it to the mom and said, pass it to the mommy that struggles. And the mom was surprised. How do you know I was struggling? And this caught her attention. Like, should the mother have told the child about the struggle she's going through, or she continue to hold strong, thinking they do not know, whereas these children can see it? Should we tell them, or telling them about our struggles exposes them to a lot of trauma growing up, and gives them the reason why they feel that they are not getting enough in the family? Or would this put them in a spot whereby they want to build their interest in trying to make the family better? So would this build their resilience? Would this build the sense of responsibility on them in order to tame their desires about what they need to ask their parents? Or should we just let them be? Sometimes every family have their struggles. So one struggle is different from the other. And this one is very common to a lot of people, and that is finances. When it comes to finances, a lot of people struggle with unemployment, underemployment, insufficient income. Some of the basic things you think your children should get, you are not giving them, and it hurts you that you can't provide what the children need. Is it okay to let them know that you're struggling in this aspect? Like, mommy does not have enough, daddy does not have enough. Or we should just continue to just provide for them even when we know that it's not coming from an easy place? Do they have a desired school they really want to attend, but you do not really have the strength to take them to that school? But because you want to show love to them, you struggle them to a big school, and you struggle all your life doing that. Some people could be health issues. A lot of parents do not tell their children their health concerns. Maybe they're struggling with blood pressure, they're struggling with diabetes, they're having a terminal illness, they're having, different kind of sickness. Or probably they need to take some medication every week. It could be sickle cell. It could be any kind of, illness. So it could be chronic. It could be basically some illness that you just have to deal with. Should we let the kids know about this? Or could it be a family, substance abuse? So when I talk about substance, it might not be really, but it could be... It could be probably in the family we have a lot of people who are drunkard. They always drink till they lose their life. People that will drink till they don't know when to stop. And should we let the kids know about this, or should just feel like it's none of their interest? It doesn't help or it doesn't take anything. Or a lot of people have a lot of blended family. Some family, they don't have a nuclear like daddy and mommy and children. No, it's always daddy has, there's one, you have one step sister somewhere, you have one step uncle somewhere, you have one, a lot of blended family. Like, you don't even have to express it to the children. At what age should we let these children know this? Or should we just let it slide till later on they know? A lot of people just know uncle, auntie, but they don't know how these people become a member of the family, their real position in the family. A lot of them don't know. They only know them. So a lot of them don't know that about the past trauma mommy has gone through. They don't know about the past trauma daddy has gone through. They don't know how this is affecting them and the family. Should we let these children know about our trauma? Should they let them know about our loss that is affecting us? So these are many more we'll be discussing. How far when should we start telling our children about our struggles? Or we should hold them to ourselves alone since it is ours? Or do you think it will affect their childhood, whereby they won't be able to enjoy their childhood? We are keeping a lot of burden on them, bringing adulthood burden on children. Am I talking too much? Let me see if we have all our Let me see if we have all our families here, our other co-hosts, our fans, and other viewers who are here. So then we'll dive into the topic. Today's topic is very technical and complex. So depending on whatever angle you are seeing it. And what have you experienced? Have you experienced your parents dropping all their struggles, their burden on you? Or you feel that those times they were telling you, it helps you and shape your life till today? Or I wish that I was not told all of this because it became a burden on me. So let's hear your opinion about it. Feel free to share in the comment section. Show interest if you want to come up to share your opinion briefly. And from there we get going. Let's see if we have other co-host here. Oh, better girl is... I can see my better girl. So what are your opinion on this topic? What are sharing the burden, sitting your children down to tell them, oh, mommy cannot afford this, daddy cannot afford this? Do you think it's okay to let them know? Or you just continue to make them feel that you are doing more than enough? Or do they deserve to know the real struggles, or parents should keep the struggles to themselves? What do you think? How well do you think about it? Imagine a single mother taking care of the children alone by herself. Should she let the kids know about what she's going through, the emotional, the mental state of being by herself? Or she just needs to just bear it and keep moving as if nothing has changed in the life of the kids? Do you feel what I'm feeling there? Do you feel what I'm saying? So should she let the kids know, or should she just say, oh, nothing has changed, nothing is different in your life, just move on? Because for the children to have said, oh, let's pass it on to the mommy that struggled, it shows a lot of... It shows that mommy has been hiding. Probably the children have seen mommy cry several times. They've seen mommy nag several times. They've seen mommy, feel terrible several times. And mommy is not really talking, not sitting them down to let them know. So how best can we do this? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being part of us today. You don't forget, you can share your opinion on the comment section. I can add you up to express what you feel. Tamono, thank you, Bro Enoch. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. So what do you think? Should parents share their struggles with their children? Or this is not children's conversation. It should be an adult to adult, and adults should have this conversation. You should never share your struggles with your children because they can't even help you. So what's the point of just dumping the struggles on them without even being able to help? So what do you think? What do you think about this topic? Where are my other co-hosts? So can sharing struggles with children teach them life values? Or It's I sometimes we've seen children of today's now. We see 17-year-old boy, 18-year-old girl, people in their teens or early 20s. They are already struggling on how to take their family out of poverty. They're already doing unthinkable things just to get their family or to help their mommy get out of current situation. And if you ask these children, why are you doing all of this? They will tell you, oh, Sister Motosho Adetola, thank you for joining mommy. God bless you, ma. I really appreciate it every time. Thank you for your support. I know I don't get to do this, but you are one of my great fans that I love, that always join me. Thank you for joining, mama. So we hear some of these teenagers who will tell you that they're struggling because of their parents. Why do you think a young boy or a young girl will say they are doing business, or they want to go and do rituals, or they're into yahoo because of their parents, so that they can take their parents and their family out of poverty? That tells you that their parents could have dropped their struggles on them, and they feel that it's their responsibility to help their parents out of it. At what time and how do we tell our children about our struggles? It's like, parents, especially mothers, how we lament. Ori mi o, shanu mi o, adagbe adafa. You keep reminding your children it's adagbe adafa. How do they know? I saw your comment, saw your request rather. So you want to send it again, or I've not seen you here. So at what point do we tell the children that these are our struggles? And at what point do we let them know that it is not their burden, it is still yours? Or should we leave these struggles for them to? A lot of parents just dump it on their children, like, koso, you to go and find money. And you will wonder, how has me telling you about my struggle and you finding money come to place? So do children really deserve to know your struggles, especially healthy family? I know we have elder people here. And at what point should parents come clean, honest with their children? At what point should they come honest with their children? So I've seen you, Bro Tunde. I just hold on, let's Bro Tunde land, then I'll pick your request. Okay. Bro Tunde, you're welcome. Yeah, good morning. How was the week? Good. Adeshegun, you're welcome too.
Hi, good afternoon. Godfrey, how are you today, sir?
Wow.
Hello, Rachel.
It was nicer when you used to open your camera.
Say that again.
I said it was really nice when you used to open your camera.
It's because I've not done my beauty treatment this morning.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Actually,
and also the family is full now.
I can have my camera on, but I don't know how to do it. Do I have to leave and then you invite me again?
No, you can't. There's a camera button on your screen there whereby you can turn on and off.
Yeah, no, but I joined without camera, so that's
okay.
Let me leave, then you can react.
Bring it back. Okay.
Come on with camera.
Okay. So how is it, Adeshegun? How's the week?
Yeah, going well, going smoothly so far, no issues.
Thank God. So today's topic is a bit technical and it has a lot of divergent views, and it's basically about parents being honest with their children about their struggles, or it's not the children's concern, like it doesn't help them, rather you're just leaving them with traumas and probably be pain that they can't help you. So what do you think? Should parents, I don't know if you saw the video that even brought this topic, where there are two boys, one boy and a girl, who were doing hot potato, passing around the basket, and the boy passed it to the girl, saying, pass it to the girl that cry. So which is the sister that cries a lot. So when the sister wanted to talk, the younger one, she said, pass it to the mommy that struggle. And the mom was like, how do you know that I struggle? Do you get it? So this brought the conversation like, so that means that boy or the girl could have seen their mommy in a struggle state all her life for her to be able to verbalize it and express it that way. So now, should we hide our struggle, or we should just come open to these kids and let them know that mom is struggling in this area? And when we talk about family struggles, it could be about money, it could be about cost, it could be our extended family, having a lot of blended families. It could be one abuse or the other, or it could be a trauma, it could be a loss, anything that comes with struggling. But the most common one is the finances. Probably you don't have enough money to take care of them. So should we let the kids come out honestly to the kids like, this is my strength, this is where I need help, or it's none of their business? I just shake.
Yeah, I personally think it's okay to share struggles that kids can understand and you know and can help out with. Understand? I think there's a limit to which you can share. It will be helpful if you share it, and it's something they can help out with. You understand? So, but do you want to mute because of work? So, for parents who are very busy, um, it's okay for for them to share their struggles of their schedule with their kids, so that their kids can be able to help out with things at home. You understand? So that their children can be able to take responsibilities like some of us took while we were young. You understand? I just think that there should be a line there where you don't then put them under pressure to take responsibilities that they are not supposed to be taken at a certain age. You understand? So I think a lot of the reasons why some children really missed it, even some adults now, why they missed it early and why they started taking responsibilities that were not theirs early was because of their parent making it obvious that they needed to lend a hand, even though they were still in secondary school, even though they didn't have a job that they were doing and all. You understand? They made it clear that they needed to lend a hand. And so these kids then, would have to find a way, to begin to help. And it leads them astray. It leads them, to miss their way. And you find them doing things that they're not supposed to do. So to answer the question, I would say it's okay to share with them, but we need to share with them what their psychology, even if it looks as if, they will say that there are some children that are more matured than their age. Even if they seem as if they are more mature than their age, it's still important for you to still restrict the responsibilities that you share that you ask them to take as a result of your struggle to the things that age that they are can handle. That's what I think.
Thank you so much. So what we're saying is that there should be age appropriate information and there should be limits. Don't drop all of them on them so they don't carry too much. So Bertrand, what's your view on struggles? Should we pass struggles to the kids, or should we let them know? Should we tell them or not?
Ẹ ṣé olóòtú, ọpọlọ yín ò ní dọ́ba.
It's not gonna be iléeṣẹ́ yóò ní jóná.
Iléeṣẹ́ yín ò ní jóná, ọwọ́ yín á máa lò fún mi.
Ojú tẹ fi wò mí ò ní fọ́, etí tẹ fi gbọ́ mi ò ní dí.
To get it. Yeah, so I mean, building on what Mr. Ajashegun said, I think it's important to know what these kids can handle, right? And the reason why I kind of love what Mr. Ajashegun started with is the particular video that you're referencing. Those kids are not mentally capable of the discussion that they are having in that clip, as far as I'm concerned, because they really don't know what the struggle actually means, right? So it's important to know the kind of information that you want to let out to kids, right? And I'm of the school of thoughts that if you raise kids that are compassionate, right, they know, even without you sitting them down to tell them. It's not about hiding information from them. It's about encapsulating the information, right? So let's take, for instance, the financial part of it, right? If you're struggling to meet up with some of the finances, right, you can let them know that, oh, this is what. So here, I mean, there are two ways you can say, oh, I can't take care of this particular bill because I don't have the means. I'm struggling about it, right? That's one way of saying it. Another way of saying it is, kids, where this is, I mean, full transparency. You want me to get you this? This is what I can afford now. You see, saying this is what I can afford now kind of still puts the responsibility on you to make it better, to provide the basics that you need. Like letting them know that the shiny things that you want, I'm not able to give you now, but I'm giving you this because I know that this would work in whatever it is that you need. Rather than saying that, oh, well, I don't have a job or I don't have money, you to find means and all of that. That to me is outsourcing the responsibility to the kids. And of course, there are times that kids can help out, but there are some, like Mr. Jashegun said, age appropriate. You can't be feeding a 10-year-old, kid about, oh, we are struggling in the family, we don't have this, we can't get this, and all of that. It's creating a mindset in the mind of the kid to want to, and whether it's in trying to help out, it's also creating the mindset of, I don't want to be like mommy, I don't want to be like daddy, and then it's going to lead them to want to do things that is not within the confines of what an elderly person will handle. So for me, just as Mr. Jashegun said, it's okay to let kids know, let them into some of the things that you're doing, some of the decisions that you're taking, right? But to be mindful of how you share that struggle with them. I think that is the most important thing for as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, now I'll bring when I growing up, my parents were teachers. They have only basic needs that they can provide, not to, but there was nothing within basic that we would never lack. We lacked. But what I saw is like my daddy became so transparent in his expenses. We know how much he earns. He will be the one to give us the money and tell us to spend it. Like, those things. And when it has finished, my daddy tells you, oh yeah, it's done. So we have to wait till the next pay. So that brought empathy to us. Whenever he has money, he gives us like, okay, pocket money, Lily. We will keep it because we know there's going to be a time that daddy may not have. It's that same money that he has given us. That's daddy, I hear you. So that brought helped us with empathy because we know that he's struggling. But in his struggles too, it tames our own desires too, because we were not asking for too much from him because we know that this is what he can do. Do you get that? So do you think telling the kids about struggles, teach them about life values, which is probably being resilient, taking responsibility. Part of our responsibility is to save money up for daddy because we know that this daddy that's giving us money we this time now. It's going to be a time that he won't have any more to give us like that. So let's keep some for him. We're like, okay, all those. So when I bring daddy, I still have some money with me, then he will appreciate it. So do you think that has led us to be more responsible in life, or it wounded us in the sense that we don't like this kind of lifestyle, so it makes us to hunger for more, better life than today we have, tomorrow we don't have? What do you think, Ajashegu?
Well, I think that the truth of the matter is that most of the struggles that parents shares that they tend to share while growing up were struggles that brought about responsibilities that people were not really ready for. It wasn't about struggle of go and wash plates. come home early. No, those were not the struggle. They shared a lot of, financial struggles that led ladies, to start hustling, that led boys to start hustling. You understand? So as much as I want to agree that it's okay to share, but the truth is that even you have pointed it out that most of us in our generation, you've pointed it out over and over that most of us have been traumatized. And we don't even know that we've been traumatized because the time when we're supposed to spend being kids, being teenagers, being in the higher institution, the first bonds, especially the first, in fact, it's so subtle that you won't know that one. You go to even social media, you see some trending posts where they'll tell you it's for firstborns. They'll tell you that firstborns have some responsibilities on them that makes them not live their life the way they want to live their life. That they join their parents in the hustle so early because they want to take care of their younger ones. You understand? And the truth is that why I started agreeing with you that it's a cause of trauma is the truth is that at that age, they were not supposed to be paying bills. Because the truth is they didn't have any degree, they didn't have any job, but they were being asked to pay bills. They were being asked to be emotionally intelligent enough not to cry, not to do this, not to do that. Same thing with the male children. You understand? The male children were being told that you are a man, you're supposed to be assisting your mother. In fact, even when your parents don't tell you, people who see your parents struggling tend to tell you that you, this boy, can't you see what that boy is doing and all that? And let me now even talk about another projection of struggle that I feel like caused division in the, I don't know, maybe Black Americans experience this, but I know that Africans tend to experience this. How did we get to the point where most of the children tend to love their mom? They tend to believe their mom gave them everything, right? While their fathers were not really contributing. It's because the mother tend to always share the struggles and tend to always report their fathers to their, can you see that your father? He's supposed to be doing this. While the father does not really get to talk about all those. I think most of those times the irresponsible fathers are the ones that tend to always project those struggles on those children. You understand? And that's why I still am of the school of thought that if truly that submission you have made that most of us are actually traumatized, most of us started taking responsibilities too early, and it made us tougher than we should be with life and all. I feel like the real way to actually really train kids and even train teenagers is let them live as kids, let them enjoy their, the time when they are kids, let them enjoy their teenage age, let them also experience what it feels like to go through the university so that at the appropriate time they can be adults when they actually are adults. You understand? I know some people will argue and say that that's how we breed children that are not really really smart and they don't take responsibility. They want everything to be done for them, but it's still important to allow these people live. Of course, I also started taking responsibilities at a very young age, not because anybody asked me to, because I felt like, well, I could help out in this way. I was idle, I could take this job. Nobody forced it. You understand? But even now, in the family system, after we have grown old and all the siblings that you've catered for have grown, the responsibility pattern is still a little bit biased. They still expect that it's still you that is the elderly one, or you that is this, that you to still take that. Look, I saw a trending video the other day where a lady was talking. She's in the US and she said that she has blocked all her family members. And I watched the video to the end, and she said that the reason why she blocked them was because she does not know when the billing will stop. It feels like they don't want to work. It feels like every time she walks, she pour it into them and all that. And that's why I feel like the right way to go is let everybody enjoy when they are young. Let them enjoy when they are teenagers. And when they are adult, let them know that they are adults and they should be responsible for themselves. Finish.
Yes, Omalagbara ló ń yọ̀lẹ̀. That is what my daddy always tells me. Thank you, Sister Growing Up, for adding that. So, Bro Tunde, what do you think about, sharing struggle? Do that help them with, life values, or it's just that you're just dumping, baggages on them?
So I have a slightly different take. Not really slightly, but I want to go back to the story that you shared about the situation in your family with your dad. Honestly, I know most people might disagree, but the thing that your dad did was not sharing struggle. What your dad did was being transparent, because he did not come from the point of I am incapacitated. To me, that is what I would translate struggle to me, right? If daddy should say, you know what, I'm not able to take care of you, I'm not able to do this, do some things, that is me. That is what I would go against with respect to sharing struggles. But what daddy did was expose you to some of the things that probably help you now in terms of having a view into finances of the family. And what that does is it teaches responsibilities. Because now that you know that this is daddy's salary, right? And you know how things are being spent in the house. Number one, you're going to be compassionate in knowing that let's not make crazy demands, right? Number two, it gives you that sense of contentment in that you won't be looking at other family that you, of course, you don't know what they are earning in the other family to judge your family, right? So it helps you to understand that every family is unique. This is the situation in our family, and this is how we run things in our family. To me, that is not struggle. That is understanding the situation. And I would say that is the best way of going about things when you're dealing with children, right? It's not a case of, oh, I'm helpless. Because being helpless is what you now make you see that, oh, daddy cannot take care of us. That is what what is going to translate to. But now that you know what that is capable of, you won't be asking for keto sandals because you saw keto sandals in the leg of your friends, right? And when daddy comes home and says, okay, this is the standard I can afford to you. Oh, sorry, Shaba is the one that was raining for women then. If daddy comes and says, oh, this is the Kulibali that I can give you, right? Of course, because the point that I'm making is what make kids feel like their family is inadequate is what they see outside, and there's no strong foundation inside to counter that. You understand what I'm saying? But because you have the strong foundation in-house, whatever it is that you get from outside does not mean anything to you. Then the only thing that is going to do is to start making you start thinking strategically how you can do it for your own life, not necessarily how you can now go out and be doing I'm using extra curricular activity, right, to support the family now. So that is what I see to it. Being transparent, yes, but to now be saying that, oh, I can't give you this, I can't give you this, I can't give you this because I am incapacitated. That is what will lead to the kids now having, it could lead to having some sort of resentment. Because if as a father, I'm telling my children that, oh, you need, my son comes to me and say, I need a particular tool, right? And I said, no, I can't do that because I don't have the power to give you that, right? The kid does not understand that. What the kid would understand is my friend asked his dad, and his dad was able to give him. I'm asking my dad. My dad could not give me. So my dad is a deadbeat, right? He cannot take care of his family. Then maybe I should now go out there and fend for myself. So that's why I'm saying that transparency is more important than sharing your inadequacies as a father. Because if you're doing that, you're outsourcing the responsibility to the kids. That's what I think.
Hold on. So do you know that particular act that I know that we only have enough money, probably at the first half of the month. The other half of the month is struggle to next pay. So that has also, because I know that job as a teacher is just limited to salary alone. And that has taught me that I will never, that was my own trauma from that job, because the job could only provide half of the month. Teaching job now, that the other half is a struggle. So that job has made me said, I will never be a teacher. Was that a trauma? Was it from the place of transparency or from the place of struggle that I told myself, never ever will I be a teacher? Not because teaching job is noble. I liked it. It helped us to be raised well, but because of the inadequacy because of the struggle my dad exposed me to, from the salary to what our expected income, our income is. This is our expenditure. But I know that this income is not enough to cater for this expenditure. Like, I don't know. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a teacher ever in my life. So, do you think that was a struggle or a place of transparency? Because that's a trauma of me. That's a place that said, no,
So yeah,
teacher
look,
is not.
I
Teacher is
understand
not.
where you're going. I understand where you're going. Number one, again, another thing that is different from what everybody believes. Some of the things that we call trauma is not trauma. I'm sorry to say it. And your resolve to not wanting to be a teacher is not a bad thing. As far as I'm concerned, it's not. The reason why I said it's not a bad thing is because you make that decision based on one point, which is the fact that the salary was not good enough. In the same vein, a kid of a banker can decide, I'm not going to be a banker, because he feels that because of the father's job as a banker, the father does not have enough time for them. See, cause and effect. Decisions happen based on series of things. I won't call it trauma. I would rather call it a base for your development. Are you better for it now? Good. Why will you? Because if we're labeling things that makes us who we are now, we are labeling it as trauma. We're trivializing the benefit that we got out of it. That's what I think. Not everything is trauma. If your father is a dangerous man that beats you for no reason, that is trauma. But to now say that because my dad worked a particular job and I'm not happy with the outcome of the job, so because of that, I decided to take a decision not to do that job. That is not trauma. That is education. That's what I think to it. So all of this, maybe this is who I am. My dad beat me growing up, right? I never see all of those things as trauma, because it's what form our character. And I think I'm deviating now from the topic, right? But the point that I'm making is transparency is more important. When we're sharing things with kids, how is more important than the actual statement. And I wrote it in a chat that what we're going through right now in social media and all of that is because of the fact that the place of the microcosm, the family being the smaller unit of social construct, has lost its place in providing that education. See, all that we're going through, and I said it earlier, that what we make kids feel that their parents are inadequate is because of what they are seeing outside, without the proper building block to counter that, right? There was something that I said that my mom will always say that, right? Which is, what you do in your house, it's only you that know. What others do, because my mom will always say that if you go out, right, on my streets, then, right, and I'm not saying it to brag about how my parents were, but on my streets, then the parents on my street, they call my mom Mama Diolu. They make reference to us as the quote and unquote the perfect children. So my mom will now say that, okay, you go out and people see you, but inside you know the struggle. So why will you compare yourself to other kids that you see outside as golden? When you understand what I'm saying, when people see you as golden outside, but inside you know the struggle, right? So other kids also are probably going through the same thing that you're going. Why are you looking out there outward and not thinking about the inward as well, right? So my mom also shared a story about, they saying that right? So my mom said the story that there were two people that one of them ate chicken, right? One of them ate akalamago. The one that ate chicken came out and said, "Kalamago, tonsin you." You understand? The one that ate the real Akalamago came out and said, "Moeshe chicken tonsin," and eventually, the one that ate chicken but came out to portray himself as someone that ate Akalamago died following that taboo. Whereas the one that ate the Akalamago and came out to say he ate chicken did not die. Which means that it is not what you do on the confines of your house that matter, because nobody knows. It is what you announce. So, and that is what is going on in the social media space right now. Because if you see, we show up. Everybody shows up. I'm never going to post my problem on social media. I'll post my successes. So if I'm posting my success, then definitely should stick into my mind that other people that are posting their successes also are hiding something from me. So to me, as we're being transparent with our kids, it's an opportunity to learn that message of contentment. I think that is the most important thing. That was what your dad did by showing you, this is how much I earn. That way, you get the lesson of contentment. You get the lesson of proper financial management, because now you know that if you blow all the money, there's nothing at the other half of the month. Imagine if your dad did not share the transparency, right? And you feel like daddy is what daddy is not, and you're comparing daddy with other daddies out there. That is when you now start thinking that, oh, that the struggle, that is not able to take care of the family, let me go out and do hook up or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? That is the danger of exposing struggle without the proper guardrail to ensure that the kids learn the contentment contentment part of the struggle.
That contentment, I have it on overdose level. Overdose, they worry me for contentment. So so we're talking about exposing the kids. All of us have said exposing them. We need to expose them for age appropriateness. But do you think we are also robbing them from their innocence of it as a child? Like, they shouldn't be bothered about how mommy make money. They shouldn't be bothered how dad is spending money. What they should be bothered about, how I'm going to enjoy the money. So are we are we just robbing them of their innocence and the childhood joy, or we pass our burden to them and they get bitter? For example, like I don't know if my example is matching the story, but most of the time, each time I'm going to work, my children don't want me to go to work. So one will hold one leg, the other will hold the second leg. Mommy, don't go to work. I'm like, there's no way mommy will not go to work. If mommy is not going to work, we want to keep daddy. And mommy just said, no, mommy, we have money in our piggy bank. Don't go to work then, because you are going to work to make money, right? Don't go to work. I'll give you money in my piggy bank. Is it not passing the struggle to them that we need money to pay this, pay this, pay this, pay this, or let them know that daddy cannot do it alone? Is that not a struggle, or it's a transparency like you are saying now? Or they should just say, okay, mommy will sit down, you get all that you want, and I will buy all that you want for you. How do we balance?
Oh, sorry, is that for me?
Ajashegun, where are you?
Oh, okay, that's for me. Oh, so the thing is, I feel like this question you just asked now is the reason why we are almost losing the family structure and the family value system. You understand? And I don't know how you guys do it in the Western world. That's one of the reasons why I'm not really a fan of the Western world, because it requires, both parents to work at almost on the same schedule. You understand? And I think one of the things that really made upbringing for us really good is we know that when dad was not available, mom would be available. You understand? So, and then the other thing is the society today, what it projects, Brotunde has so much talked about it, and I love what he said. The society today projects, even at a young age, what you see all around is at a young age, you see even your children are already thinking about buying Benz. Come on, when I was a child, we went to school, we would enjoy. It wasn't our parent that would take us for extracurricular curricular activities. Come on. We're almost like goats about when it comes to playing ball. We will play ball They were almost always dragging us to come back home. It wasn't as if we were doing anything bad. You understand? The ladies who played this thing they call 10-10 then. Different things. Those were us growing up. It wasn't, we didn't really care about who if we did we even know Benz? We didn't know that it was we were taught contentment. Like not even like they had to sit us down to teach us. We knew that all we needed from home was for us to be able to eat well, us to be able to afford our school fees, and our parents will provide shelter. We didn't need much. You understand? But fast forward to now, even a 15-year-old boy is already thinking about, already singing about the song about he wants to make mommy proud. You understand? Now, how does he want to make mommy proud? He wants to buy a Benz. He wants to buy mommy a house. You get. So even for you as a parent, you say you want to you will not even be free and confident to say you want to leave such a kid at home, right? While you go to work and work a shift where you know that there's probably a neighbor out there who will Rotunde, God bless you. I want to leave home to feed home. You know, I'll tell anybody that will say now to me that Shegun is living home. People that are at home should look for what they will eat. Oh. People that are at home should look for what they will eat. Oh. Because since when I left home to feed home, me too, I'm not even eating well. So people that are at home should look for what, that's the phrase. They will leave home to feed home, and that's how they end up at those HK. They call it HK, where they go and learn Yahoo Yahoo, where they go and learn hook up and all that. And the contentment, as much as Brazil was trying to talk about it, I don't even know how to teach it to your kids. Because when you teach it to them, the moment they step out of the door, there's a million and one things they see that will unteach them that thing that you are teaching. Because of course, who doesn't want to be in a Benz? And this woman is telling me that, but boy, be contented with your own bicycle. When you can see that somebody in your classmate is already driving a Benz, you understand? And that's why Mr. say, how do I know so much? Oh, I know it though. See, I would probably have ended up in the HK too because I was already being enrolled until when my dad caught me. He didn't even care. He saw me coming with them and he just said one thing. He shook his head. He said, and police will arrest you. And he would definitely not come. He didn't say I should not do it, but he wouldn't come through. Even if he's going to come, he will leave me for a number of days there. You understand? So at the end of the day, and that's why I said that we're losing the family value system because it's hard to even teach these things. You want to teach it even today in this current dispensation. If I like the car that I drive, is a Honda. I love it. It works fine for me. But you still see people that have changed car like 4 or 5 times. You say, but boy, why are you still driving this car for the past 4 years? Come on, is it not supposed to be a tool for me to get from here to there? But they see it as a sign of me not growing and me not improving and all. But the reason why I'm still able to, stay within my range is because I know that I'm content. I like the job it does. In fact, I have a special attachment to it. You understand? So I feel like as much as you're leaving the home and they want you to stay back at the home, the reason why that is that way is because of the part of the world where you are. And it's also happening here now. And unless if you want to raise good and godly children, you have to be available at certain time of the day. If not, there are elements out there that will teach your child the things that you know I met a girl recently and she was talking to me. She was about to go into hookup. Why? Of course, her parents did not tell her. She can see her parents struggling. They didn't tell her about the struggle. She can see them struggling. But the people that whispers into her ears when her parents are not around are the ones telling her about hookup. And she has the time because by 6, 7 p.m. when her parents are supposed to be back, they are not back. They'll be back maybe by 10 p.m. And they
No,
told her that it's not a, okay, Burton.
no. Sorry.
Okay.
I
So
do not.
they've made it clear that it's just a 30-minute gig. You don't go, you don't come back with 10K, 20K, and all that. So unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to tell you that there's a way to which you can structure the family system now. Because all the things, even in the school that your children goes to, there are probably going to be kids that are wealthier. There are probably going to be kids of Yahoo boys there. There are probably going to be kids of politicians there that are stealing money. And your kids will also be, trying to measure up to their standard. As much as you want to tell them that no, that they shouldn't be in a hurry, it's hard for you to tell them that, because I learned this. I don't know how true it is. I learned that children, they learn more by what they see rather than what they hear. So they feel like it's okay that the life they need to live is the life where at 13, 12, they need a PS5. They already know about gaming, and they are thinking of things that are not within their own price range. So I don't think I have a steady answer for that.
Okay, hold on. There's this also a view that I heard recently, whereby a father told the other got admission to university, public university, and they came with the bill, and the father said, I cannot afford this bill. And that means you're not going to school for now. And the daughter hated the father because the father cannot pay for school fees. So that means she'll be dropping out of school. Now she has not started school, that means she will not be going to school. And she hated her father for that, saying the father, if he had known that he wouldn't be able to take care of her, she should have had her rather. So in that situation, how do you is that not struggle being passed to the child, or is that not transparency, like, oh Ben, I can't pay for it? Or is the child that is not emotionally intelligent to understand that your father's financial strength, that he can't afford it, and she's feeling left behind because most of her friends have gone to school. She's the only one who cannot go to school. And this brings a lot of questions to parents, like, will my children be happy and proud of me, or would they say, I hate you because you cannot provide for my needs? Rotunde.
I should look. You see, that particular scenario, I don't want to say it's a little bit too late, but the thing is, I always like to deal with what the domino effects that led to that particular point in time. In that, and it goes to everything that we've been saying actually. The only thing that will make the girl to detest the father for saying, I'm not able to pay this tuition, is because of the fact that the father had not been transparent enough with whatever money that he's making, right? And then they've not had a concrete conversation on the plan for the girl, right? Because if my dad is earning 50,000 per month, right, and I know that this is the amount that my dad is making every month, right? However bad it may be, there are certain schools that I will think of going, right? There are further institutions where the tuition is not high. Now, that is not the time when I would say I gain admission into Gowe. You understand what I'm saying?
The child went to public school. Some parents cannot afford it in public school, public university. Even federal university, they can't afford it.
I'm using it as an analogy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know the details of the child's thing, but the point that I'm making is, àwọn Yorùbá sọ pé ṣe bó ti mọ ẹlẹ́wà àṣàpọ̀n. Tí ó bá jẹ́ wípé bàbá has been transparent. Of course, we've been talking about transparency now. Has been transparent from the onset. Ọmọ yẹn náà, even if the girl is not happy, it won't be resentment. The reason why the daughter is resenting his father is because she felt the father is saying that as a way of, I don't know, maybe punishment, or the father is not responsible. That's why the father is doing that. That is the only thing that will make the daughter resent the father. But if the daughter knows that the father is not making the family income does not fall within the category of the tuition, it won't be resentment. Sadness, yes. Anger, yes. But it won't be resentment. That's number one. Number two, empathy also plays a part. If the daughter knows that this is the situation, And if another prayer is God should give us the grace to raise kids that are compassionate. You understand what I'm saying? See, there's nothing that beats having a kid that is compassionate. Nothing. Imagine, you share the story now. Imagine if, with the current the situation of the finances, with what your dad was earning, right? And then you get an admission, and daddy says, you understand? Will you resent daddy? Of course not. So to me, there's a whole lot of things that
I won't even find the admission because I would have known that I cannot pay.
Thank you. That is the
How will you find it? Because I know you can't pay for
it. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, I mean, a bit of family history, right? I graduated from LAUTECH. My sister, myself and my sister were at LAUTECH at some point. Paying tuition was hard, right? And it led to some sort of anger, some sort of sadness, but it was never resentment, because I know the capacity of my dad, who was the only parent as a civil servant. And then you want the two kids that were in school at the same time. I think at that time they increased LAUTECH's tuition from 11,000 to 40,000, if I can remember. So I will be angry because, of course, as a kid, you wouldn't want to be the odd one out where everybody is paying tuition and you're not able to pay tuition. Sometimes you cry, but it's never going to be resentment, because you know it's not like you expect that daddy go become that is not paying because he doesn't like you, right? It's just that you see, you understand. So resentment, the reason why the daughter resents the father is the lack of transparency that we have been talking about. It's not even about sitting them down to talk about the struggle. It's the lack of transparency.
So how do we prepare our kids for the reality, Adashegun? At what point do we tell them, this is our reality? This is what we can do. It's not like our mommy have been struggling to cover up all our shades, but when I can't cover it again, this is our barest minimum. We can't even live in a flat. Can we go back to, sometimes we struggle and do above our means. Probably you've been living in a flat, you've been you took them to private school, and now you want to come back to your own reality. You're tired of, trying to struggle all the way. And now you want to bring them. Or probably there's separation. That is no more. Or daddy died, God forbid. And you have to live your reality. And at what point do you tell the children, or when you come back from that high house that you are, this is our reality. So, or should we continue to protect them by struggling? Adashegun.
The thing is, well, I'll answer in two ways. I think back in the days, right, when parents would just project these things on children, I would say ignorance was one of the major issues there, because they didn't think they had any way of dealing with it. They made a lot of errors. I think parents had too many children at that time without planning. You understand? I didn't have a parent to support me when it's really nice to hear that Rotunde went to LAUTECH. He has that aura, right? So I went to LAUTECH too. When I was going to LAUTECH, I didn't have any parent to support, and I understood. I didn't ask anybody to be responsible. You understand? Anyone who was able to lend a helping hand, I saw it as a favor. It wasn't even family. It wasn't a responsibility where I would be disturbing and buzzing people with phone calls. You understand? But the reason why, I feel like at that time kids were forced to be understanding is because a lot of the parents were not really educated, and they didn't really plan properly for having a family. But I think now no parent has any excuse. You understand? You already know where you are financially. You already know the job you do. You should be able to have number of kids that you can take care of. You understand? And you don't have to show off. I see a lot of people who send their children to very expensive school. I just think it's showing off. When I went to LAUTECH, I attended a private school while I was in the secondary school. But when I went to LAUTECH, it changed my mindset totally when I saw people who went to government school, like competing, like beating us hands down, in exams. So what I learned from there is that you can go to a government school and come out very well. You can go to a government school and still that you will compete with people who went to the best schools. You understand? So what it requires for you to be able to take care of a kid till university level is not a lot, right? You can take them to schools that are affordable and they still have quality teaching there. So now, if you now say that you don't have the funds to, send somebody to school, a child that you add in this current dispensation, I just see it as wickedness because it should have been part of your plan even before you had the child didn't ask for you to have him or her, you had him. And the barest minimum you can give a child, and you should give a child, is at least proper care. What does proper care mean? Shelter. You don't have to be in Lekki or Aja. Any people, there are children in Ikorodu that grows up and have very fantastic life with Jodubega and all. Give them good shelter. Ensure that you're able to at least feed them properly. These days, nobody even eat 3 square meals a day, but at least feed them properly and ensure that for them to be able, even if it is government school, send them to a good government school and do your part in terms of raising. So I think any parent that now comes today and now tells a child that I don't have the money to send you to the university, I think the parent is just being wicked. And the reason why I say it's being wicked is now their education, like family planning that you can have, you already know your capacity. And parents that refuse to to learn from these mistakes that other people have learned in the past, they even pay bigger prices and bigger a bigger price for those kind of errors. I know there are parents in this current dispensation that they are hoping, and you remember the episode that we had that was very controversial then, Olotu, when I said that the parent that prays that I want to move one more, that a lot of them were praying it from the part of the fact that they failed in their career
They
and they're
drag you that
trying
year,
to,
man. Oh
yes,
my goodness.
exactly that, yes. It still does not change the fact of whether it is true or not. Because when a parent has failed, right, to make it in life, and you see them today, they want their children to bring, and how did we get to the point where the society now starts believing that for a woman to succeed in life, he only needs to marry a rich man? How did we get to that stage? It's because of this kind of thoughts, where if you have female children, you believe that you want to reap the fruit of your labor on them. It's not even by them even working, getting a good job and making it a life. You just expect them to select a rich husband, right? So I said it then, and I'm still saying it again, that if these things are not properly taught to this parent, that look, your children should not be your ticket out of poverty. If you don't think about, if they don't learn it very well, we'll continue to just roll and continue to just talk about this all the time, that the children have their lives to live. And because the parent failed in life does not mean that they now have to use the children as a stepping stone. And I'll round off by saying this. I have a friend, a professional colleague, who's a Muslim, who already married a wife, and in their religion they can marry a second wife. And he met this girl who he wants to marry as a second wife. And the red flag that I saw was the fact that she's always projecting her parental needs on this guy, even while they were courting. She was always, her parents needs this, her parent needs that. That's a big, huge red flag for me, because one of the questions I asked is, before you met me, how were your parents feeding? Where were your parents staying? You understand? So eventually, this guy had money, bought a house in his name, and said, okay, since you have been disturbing me that your parents need to leave the rented apartment that they have been staying, the reason why your parents stayed in rented apartment for the rest of their life is not anybody's fault. As much as I want to say, the typical me will say it's their fault. They need to take responsibility for their life, of whatever their life is. But it's not any other person's fault. But now you've met a man who, of course, you also want to use as a ticket out of that pain and poverty, which is okay. But at least show that you are not gold diggers and you are not trying to use the man. So this guy bought the house. Now move them into the house. Now, get this. He has other tenants in the house. The house is not theirs. He just gave them an apartment so that they won't have to pay rent anymore while he's trying to marry their daughter. And within 6 months of them moving into the house, they started making moves on how to fully take over the house. They started, taking control of. They started controlling the tenant. They started telling the tenants when they can come in, when they cannot come in, and all that. It is very clear
Mm.
from that example that those parents are just users. They are just people who are using their children, and they are using their children to, as a ticket out of poverty. And that's why I feel like any parent now that is having children, and those who have not had children, have children that you can take care of. And any parent now that is having children that they cannot be able to take care of, right? It's just pure wickedness. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And something came to my mind. I want us to quickly go through all that. We've been talking about money, unemployment, insufficient income. Let's quickly talk about health condition. At what point should we tell our children about our health situation, our health struggles? Rotunde?
This one is very interesting. I would admit it's not a territory that I am vast in, but but the thing is, the thing is, with respect to health condition, right? What do we expect from the children in sharing?
Transparency, just for FYI.
I understand. I understand. In share, the reason why I'm saying that is my mom was sick, right? And then when she passed, that was when I got to know that she was sick, right? I didn't know about it. But the thing is, in retrospect, would it have made me a better person if I'd known all along, or would it have affected me emotionally? And the truth is, it would have affected me emotionally if I'd known before the passing. So that was why I said, oh, it's kind of like it's a situation where you want to know that is this kid matured enough to handle it, right? I don't think I was not matured enough to handle it, right? And it would rob the kid of the interaction that they want to have with the parents, right? And some parent would want to say that, oh, I want my kids to know this version of me, not the alien version of me. Does that make sense? So I would say if it is not necessary to share, don't, particularly with respect to ailment, right? That's my own personal opinion. If it is not necessary, of course, I had older ones that knew about it because my elder sister was in the university at the time, so she understood, right? She could provide guidance. Oh, maybe I spoke with someone today and all of that. And my philosophy is, if you're not going to provide a sort of solution to something, there's really no need for you to know about it. Let me give you an example. There are some things that, and I may be digressing because I don't really have much to say in that regard, but there are things that the person that is going through it may not want to relieve, right? So they tend to want to hold on to it. So let me give an example. You have a friend or family that, and I'm sorry for bringing this out in the public space, that is looking on to God for fruit of the womb, right? And you ask them, so how far with your situation? You understand what I'm saying? You ask as a friend, but then when the person said, oh, this is what we're doing, so hey, yeah, the Lord will help you. To me, that is bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're not offering any form of assistance. The only thing that you've successfully done is scrape the wound, because immediately they told you, they must have remembered it, and after they told you, when they leave you, they will still continue to remember. So that is kind of like my thought process regarding sharing your sicknesses, well, even with your kids, right? Because kids don't really know what they will say to console you about your illness, and they don't know how to handle it as well. They don't have the emotional strength to handle, oh, mommy is sick or daddy is sick. That's my own opinion about that, though. However, some things that may want to prompt parents to share it is so that the kid will take responsibility around the house, right? But going back to what I'm saying earlier, you don't have to wait for the day of the Bible says the horse is prepared for the day of battle. Not like you're expecting to be sick, but all this conversation about, oh, mommy is not able to handle things and all of that wouldn't be required if there's been a solid foundation about preparing the kids, about taking care of whatever house chores, taking care of their siblings, and then empathy. If all of that is already there won't be need to share that conversation. That's what I think.
Okay. I remember at the beginning of this year I was sick. So each time I always let my kids know, like, guys, you're making noise, you're disturbing me. Mommy is sick. Can't you just be nice? My first one will tell me, Mommy, when you need anything, just let me know. I'll help you get it. As
That
little
is,
as you,
no,
as
that
little
is
as you use.
no, that is different. No, that is different. Because
So
I literally told my 2-year or 3-year-old today, because she was jumping on me, and I said, oh, daddy is sick, right? Because I actually didn't sleep well through the night because of him, right? And then say, oh, okay, sorry, daddy. That one is understandable. I thought you're talking about terminal disease and all of that. But of course, it's still part of transparency, right?
I think that's age appropriateness.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
it's also terminal too, you can discuss it with the kids. It depends on how you drop it, how you express it. Like, how will you feel when this happens?
But a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or 4 or 5 or 6-year-old does not understand the import of someone having stage 3
They
cancer.
know. They know.
They know, but
My
they
son
don't
saw
understand.
burial of dog. Burial, cemetery dog. This animal that they buried there. I said, Mommy, who died? Who are these people? I said, it's dog's burial ground. And he started crying. I'm like, it won't see. So I said, oh, they all died. And he started crying. So I know that he has a lot of empathy around it. So there's some conversation you
See,
just have to have with
no,
them.
I understand what Oluto, I understand what you're saying. And that was why I'm leaning towards the upbringing, the empathy side of things. But I believe that, and I'm not trying to discard what you said about your kid talking about who died and all of that, but what it does to people, right? I don't think it's have the emotional capacity to bear. I don't want to be sharing personal story, but that's what I believe strongly. I don't think kids up to certain age can handle letting them know. Of course, if they are grown enough to understand that, oh, this person cannot do certain things, or this person is admitted in the hospital, they would eventually know that, right? But you don't have to sit them down at the time that, even though you're sick, right, but you're still able to give them that engagement as a father, mother, and all of that, because they won't understand it. That's my own point to that.
Okay. But I don't even know what to say. But Jashagu, what do you think? Are we to share our health struggle with our children, is it about their age or how deep the sickness is? So you can just come with different examples and what do you think?
I think I second what Mr. Tule said. I don't think you should share with children, because if you're sharing with them, what's the purpose of you sharing it with them? Because once you share with them, there's going to be an action from them. You either, inspire them to go and start helping you look for solutions, or you make them depressed. You make them start worrying. That's the thing. And they don't have the capacity to provide financially at that point. and they shouldn't be worrying about stuff like that. Take, for example, when I lost my dad, I didn't even know what he was sick for. I know he spent 3 days at the hospital. I didn't know what he was sick for. But, you know, when I was processing the emotions um, afterwards, one of the things that helped me heal, even though it was after a long time, was me knowing that there was nothing I could have done. There was nothing I could have done. I was young then. I didn't have a job. I just, was about to finish secondary school and all. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think that what's the purpose? Why are you sharing it with them? You understand? And that's why I'm saying that anyone who is intentionally sharing that kind of information and putting pressure on a child, right? For that reason, is just being wicked because the person is not capable. And what then happens is if you continue to put pressure enough and say the right words, like, can't you see that can't you see that person, that other child, can't you see what he's doing, can't see how he's assisting his family and all, those are the things that children hear that makes them decide to go and do things that are illegal to make any
We are talking about health struggles.
yes, health struggle is
So
what I'm
you say
talking
you
about.
shouldn't share it. But now when it's going to
Yes.
financial struggle, you can share. And the reason you said you don't share a struggle is because there's nothing this child can do about it. But why do you share financial struggle when there's nothing also this child can do about it? All of this is just their FYI.
Olotu, let me chip in. It's not about double mouth, at least the way I say it. With respect to health, it's more about what it's going to do to the kids. And if you listen to what we said about financial struggle, we said you don't have to sit them down as well. It's about, because see, sickness and finances and this running of the family, they are two different things. So I'm sorry to say, they are two different things. You cannot put sharing about sicknesses and sharing about financial struggle in the same bucket. It doesn't go the same way. It's different. One breaks your emotions down in a way that it takes God for you to rebuild it. Although the second also affects you in terms of the message that is being sent. That was why we said earlier that it's not so much about sharing the struggle, it's about how you share it, if you remember. But there's no how you will share about sickness. I don't think there's how. Let me put it that way. Don't let me say there's no how. I don't think there's a way around, because of course we're talking about sharing financials, about rather than saying that I'm incapable, I can't do this and all of that. Teach them contentment. How do you teach content, or how do you prepare someone for the emotions of the possibility of losing their parent?
Let me give me a sickness example. Give me the age of the child and I will share it with you.
5.
I don't know if you get a child. Okay, mommy is sick. Mommy has cancer. God forbid, mommy has cancer, and the child is 6 years old or the child is 10 years old, and we don't know if it's a 50-50 thing. You need to let the child know. Oh, currently, mommy is sick. We are taking her to the hospital, and doctor says this. Doctor says this. Just continue to pray for mommy. Simple.
So let me respond. Let me respond to that. Again, God forbid anything happen. When you tell, and this is my opinion and opinion alone, right? When you tell a child two things about, like you said, 50-50, which one do you think the child would hold on to? The positive side of the 50 or the negative side of the 50?
So just continue to pray. So that has prepared the child. No, it's the two things that we've done there. You prepare the child for the worst case scenario already.
Exactly.
Let them start thinking of the worst case scenario.
That's the point that I'm making.
And if worst did not happen, he will be happy. Worst did not happen. I will be thankful.
That is the point that the child has no business being prepared for the worst case scenario. I'm sorry to say it though, because the chemistry of the child will focus on the negative. The next thing you see is mommy will die soon or daddy will die soon. That is not a. I'm sorry. I would die on this mountain. No kid should ever have to hear the possibility of their parents dying, whether next
That's a
week
point.
or next year or next decade. Or my dad is 86 now. As old as I am, I still can't bring myself to the thought of a time when my dad is not going to be here. No, I'm serious. So now take me back to when I'm 10 and I'm being fed with the possibility of me losing my parent. No. No. I like I said, on this high mountain, no kid should ever have to be faced with that. I'm sorry. There's no way. And that's what I'm saying. That
Look at what I said. The hospital. After all hospital, okay, go and say the last word.
See, that is inevitable. It has got into an inevitable position, even though it's not ideal. Nobody pray for that. But there's the terminality to that, right? So you want to protect your kids from such emotional thoughts around, like you said, 50. Yeah?
It prepares them instead of, like what I said, instead of the shock of mommy has gone.
The law will not.
It's right from gradual,
The law will not put more on us than we can bear.
Amen.
But I personally, I'm saying it. I'm not saying anybody should take it, but I personally would not subscribe to preparing kids that are not mature enough for that eventuality. No, let them continue living. It's like robbing them of their childhood. Just like Mr. Ajashegu said.
Okay, thank you. Anyways, since all of you said it's not good, well, you asked me, like, it's just preparing the mind of the child for the unthinkable. So we'll have started mourning earlier, rather than getting the shock of his life or his life. Anyways, that is all I have for today. Ajashegu, do you have any last word? And for today, any last word before we go? Because I don't have any.
No, not really. I think that prayer that Brotule prayed, that may we not be tempted beyond our capacity. And I hope that, if the current, the next generation of parents will do better, because now, the parenting that we have now, let me not just talk. Bye.
Okay. But today.
Yeah, what I'll say is that I'm a young parent. So for parents, I think it's important for us to first and foremost be compassionate ourselves and then raise compassionate children. Very, very, very important. Nothing beats that. And then,
unlike Ajashegu that wants to raise aggressive child, you do me, I do you.
No. Aggressive and compassion honestly can go hand in hand. The way I see it, they are not opposite. You want to, maybe what I would say is tough children, right? Raising tough children, but compassion.
Okay.
That's probably what I would say. It's very important because you need them to be tough to be able to navigate the ills of the world where we find ourselves, but to be compassionate abroad so that they don't see themselves as being better than others and all of that. And then the second thing, whether in sharing struggles or being transparent, I think it is important to, at every opportunity, find ways of teaching them one life lesson in the midst of it. Not I cannot provide this, I cannot provide that. Saying that alone is not enough, but I think what makes us who we are, and I think what is lost in our society now, is that teaching of contentment, right? There's a song back then that say, like, I've never heard that song on the airway in like years. right? Into that,
Oh, that's
the import of being contented, being an upstanding member of the society. I think it falls back, because we are not seeing it in the society anymore. It falls back on parents to instill that teaching in our children. I think once we do that, sharing struggle or not sharing struggle will be a minute case for such children.
Thank you so much for today's input. It was so powerful. I really learned a lot from today's section. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Tayo. I know Tayo is in a very tight space. That's why she couldn't join us on video. Thank you, Ajashegun. Thank you, Bertunde. And Adibambo. Thank you also for joining us in the comment section. Appreciate all of you. See you again next week. Another topic, sweet topics. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Good double.
Good double.